Daniel bakes bread. Daniel didn't plan to bake bread on Sunday. He planned to do nothing. That was the plan. Sleep late, make coffee, sit on the sofa with Biscuit the cat, and read the book he had been trying to finish for 3 weeks. Maybe go for a short cycle in the afternoon if the weather was kind. That was a good plan. A perfect Sunday plan. But at 9 o'clock in the morning, he opened the kitchen cupboard to get oats for his breakfast and found a bag of flour. It had been there for a long time. He wasn't sure how long. He didn't remember buying it. He looked at the flour. The flour, in a manner of speaking, looked back. Daniel made his coffee. He sat down. He opened his book. He read the same paragraph 4 times. He went back to the kitchen and picked up the bag of flour. He found a recipe online. It looked simple enough. Water, flour, salt, a little yeast. Mix, wait, shape, wait again, bake. How hard can it be? Daniel thought. He would learn over the next several hours that this was exactly the wrong question. He measured the flour carefully. He mixed in the salt. He dissolved the yeast in warm water the way the recipe said. Not too hot, not too cold, and he added it slowly to the bowl. Then he began to mix. At first, it felt like progress. The ingredients came together. Something that looked almost like dough began to form. Then it stuck to his hands. Both hands, completely. Daniel stood at the kitchen counter, with his hands held out in front of him, covered in pale, sticky dough, looking like a man who had made a significant error in judgment. Biscuit jumped up onto the counter to investigate. "No," said Daniel. Biscuit sat down and watched instead, which was somehow worse. The recipe said to knead the dough for 10 minutes. Daniel kneaded it for 10 minutes. His arms were tired. The dough was still sticky. There was flour on his jumper, on the counter, on the floor, and he noticed in the small mirror by the door on his left cheek. He kneaded it for 5 more minutes. Slowly, gradually, something changed. The dough became smoother. It began to feel different under his hands, softer, more cooperative, almost alive. Daniel found, to his surprise, that he didn't mind. There was something good about using his hands like this, something quiet and physical and real. All week, he had been typing, clicking, reading emails, staring at a screen. His hands had done nothing but press small buttons. Now, they were doing something old, something people had done for thousands of years. He shaped the dough into a rough ball. He put it in a bowl. He covered it with clean cloth and left it on the counter. "Now we wait," the recipe said. Daniel made more coffee and went back to his book. This time, he managed 3 full pages. Biscuit slept on the windowsill. Outside, the sky was the color of old paper, pale gray and soft, The kind of sky that made you want to stay indoors and not feel guilty about it. Daniel looked at the covered bowl once, twice. After an hour, he lifted the cloth. The dough has grown, doubled almost. It was round and smooth and looked in a simple and satisfying way, exactly like it was supposed to. Daniel felt unreasonably pleased. He shaped the dough into a loaf. He put it in a baking tin. He covered it again and waited another 40 minutes. Then he turned on the oven. The smell came first. Even before the bread was finished, the whole flat changed. It became warmer, somehow, softer, like the smell was filling in the spaces between things, between the furniture and the walls, between 1 hour and the next. Biscuit woke up from his nap and sniffed the air with great interest. Daniel stood in the kitchen doorway and just breathed it in. He had grown up with that smell. Sunday mornings at his parents' house, his mother moving around the kitchen, the radio on low. He hadn't thought about those mornings in a long time. It was funny, he thought, how a smell could carry so much. When the timer rang, he took the tin out of the oven carefully. The loaf was golden brown on top, firm at the edges, and when he tapped the bottom, the way the recipe described, it made a hollow sound. That means it's done, the recipe said. Daniel set it on the rack to cool. He looked at it for a moment. It wasn't perfect. It was a little uneven on one side. The crust had cracked slightly in the middle. It looked exactly like something made by a person who had never baked bread before. He loved it completely. He waited 20 minutes, which was harder than the kneading, and then he cut the first slice. The inside was soft and slightly chewy, with a good, honest smell. He put butter on it, because some things are not complicated. He stood at the kitchen counter and ate it slowly. Biscuit sat at his feet and looked up at him with enormous yellow eyes. "You can't have bread," Daniel said. He broke off the smallest possible piece and placed it on the floor. Biscuit sniffed it, decided it was acceptable, and ate it with great dignity. Daniel ate 2 more slices. He put the rest on a board on the counter, covered with a cloth. He sent a photo to his friend Marco with the message, "I made bread, first try." Marco replied in 30 seconds, "Get out, bring some tomorrow." Daniel smiled. He washed the flour from his hands, the counter, the floor. He changed his jumper. Then he went back to the sofa, picked up his book, and read until the light outside turned gold and the day folded quietly into evening. It had not been the Sunday he planned. In fact, it had been better. Sometimes the best days are the ones that surprise you. The ones where you open up a cupboard and find something you forgot you had. Where you do something slow and old and simple with your hands. Where your whole home smells like something warm. Let that warmth stay with you now as you get ready to sleep. You don't need to do anything anymore today. Good night.